What happened after the Maltese Falcon's ending has finally been explained, thanks to Monsieur Spade. Directed by John Huston and released in 1941, The Maltese Falcon is the second big-screen adaptation of the novel of the same name, which was penned by Dashiell Hammett in 1930. But while the Maltese Falcon book and 2 movies predates Huston's film by a few years, the 1941 classic remains the most recognizable interpretation of Sam Spade in pop culture. Starring opposite Mary Astor, Hollywood legend Humphrey Bogart headlined The Maltese Falcon 1 year before cementing his status as one of the biggest names in the film industry with Casablanca. But while Casablanca is without question his most famous work, The Maltese Falcon has a special legacy of its own. A Best Picture nominee, The Maltese Falcon is renowned for various elements, not the least of which being its memorable ending, which shirked Hollywood stereotypes. Solving the Maltese Falcon's murder mystery set up an interesting future for Sam Spade and his love interest. But exactly what happened to them was left open to speculation until Monsieur Spade. The Maltese Falcon's ending explained. When not searching for the titular bird statue or solving the murder of his partner Miles Archer, Humphrey Bogart's Sam Spade was falling in love with Mary Astor's Bridget O'Shaughnessy. The person who got him involved in the Maltese Falcon's plot in the first place, Bridget, turned out to be responsible for Archer's death. After getting his hands on the Maltese Falcon and exposing the main culprit, Elisha Cook, Jr.'s Wilmer Cook, Spade revealed that one thing the villain didn't do was kill Archer. Bridget shot Archer to frame her partner in crime, Thursby, and effectively clear the path for her to take the bird for herself. Spade's deduction led to him turning on Bridget. Interestingly, though, he still seemed to have feelings for her. In their final scene together, Spade listed numerous reasons why he couldn't let her walk away, including the idea that for a private detective, it's bad business to let the killer get away with it. Spade told Bridget that turning her in would lead to some rotten nights, but he'd get over the pain of losing her with time. The Maltese Falcon famously ended with Bogart's iconic line where he called the bird, "The stuff dreams are made of," before watching the police haul her away, leaving her future bleak. What happened to Bridget O'Shaughnessy after the Maltese Falcon? Humphrey Bogart and Mary Astor in Maltese Falcon. How long Bridget stayed in prison, whether Sam Spade got over her or not, and if they ever saw each other again was left to the imagination of the audience for decades. Within its first 10 minutes, AMC's Monsieur Spade show answered all of these questions. The show, which follows a much older Sam Spade living in southern France in 1963, provided a brief overview of what ultimately happened between Spade and Bridget. As Clive Owen's version of the iconic private detective explained in the show's first episode, Spade reunited with Bridget after her release from prison and played a role in her getting out early. Spade revealed that she served 2 years of her 20-year sentence before falsely claiming that she was dying of an illness. Without going into specifics, Spade mentioned to one of Monsieur Spade's characters, Patrice, that he was able to help her get paroled by knowing who to talk to. When pressed about it, Sam indicated that their romantic relationship resumed, but only briefly. She broke her parole, went to Europe, and eventually came to live in Istanbul. During this time, Bridget became romantically involved with a thief named Philip St. Andre, with whom she had a daughter, Teresa. Later in the episode, Spade made it clear that Bridget never really mended her ways. Sam told a nun in Monsieur Spade that Bridget assisted Philip in his criminal activities and put some of the money in a trust fund for Teresa, seemingly without Philip's knowledge. Later, Philip left, and Bridget died in a train derailment incident near Istanbul, 4 years after leaving prison. What happened to Sam Spade after the Maltese Falcon? Sometime before Bridget's death in Istanbul, she contacted Spade and paid him a lot of money to return their child to Philip, who had relocated to France. According to Spade, Philip denied the child being his and wanted nothing to do with her. As a result, Teresa wound up in an orphanage. As flashbacks confirmed, he didn't stick around to care for her, but Spade did settle down in the area to marry a woman named Gabrielle. They lived together for a while prior to Gabrielle's passing, which had happened before the start of Monsieur Spade's story. By 1963, Spade was living a quiet life, seemingly retired completely from his private detective work and still occupying the home he had shared with Gabrielle in southern France. It was revealed in the show that he still periodically checks on Teresa. Things take a turn with Philip's arrival in France in Monsieur Spade Episode 1. After coming back into the picture shortly before Teresa was to come of age and claim her money, Philip resurfaced, only to die mysteriously. His apparent murder is what sets off Sam Spade's return to the world of crime. Clive Owen's performance proves Monsieur Spade's connection to 1941's Maltese Falcon. Clive Owen as Sam Spade. Intense conversation in Monsieur Spade. Within the span of one episode, Monsieur Spade succeeds in expanding on the story of Humphrey Bogart's Sam Spade and resolving its loose ends in regards to the fate of Mary Astor's femme fatale character. Of course, it's fair to say that the 1941 movie only accounts for one adaptation of the book. However, the direction of the series, and most importantly Clive Owen's performance, leave little doubt as to what Monsieur Spade is a sequel to. The show has made no secret of its connection to the 1941 movie, with Owen speaking of his efforts to base his performance on the Humphrey Bogart version of Sam Spade specifically. Owen's take on Sam Spade creates an impossible-to-ignore link between Monsieur Spade and John Huston's 1941 movie. Most of his witty responses and astute but blunt observations of other people befit a character once played by Bogart. The delivery of his lines, combined with his quiet demeanor and dry sense of humor, honor Bogart so unmistakably that it's easy to see Owen's interpretation of the Sam Spade character as an older, mellowed-out version of the same private detective that Bogart turned into an icon of the film noir genre in 1941.